I'm Trent. I've been on the metabolic balance diet for a number of months now. I've lost about 45 to 50 pounds, and I had lost that within my first probably about 2.5 to 3 months of being on the diet. I didn't quite reach my goal yet. We have to pause at around 44 pounds to let our body resettle and to get accustomed to the weight loss. And I wanted to be very disciplined. I was at the point where for me the weight had to come off. I was tired of carrying it around and all the little things, even just things like putting my socks on and feeling out of breath. I didn't like that. For what I got out of it, I put in less than what I thought I would have to get to where I am. So I was just blown away about how fast the weight came off. Having to, going through all my clothes and trying to find things that fit anymore, or having to buy new clothes. That's funny. And having people say, that thing doesn't fit you anymore. You need to get some new clothes. That's funny. But it's a good funny. Rather than saying it's too tight on you, you need to get some new clothes. That's not good. My life with having 4 kids doesn't really lend to too much active time for me. Don't get a lot of me time to be able to do that. So I'm trying to figure out how I can work that into my schedule, and knowing that it doesn't need to be a lot, it's just got to be something. Again, I think one of the biggest obstacles is just the time, and then the timing. What was important for me was knowing that it was not special foods. It was not an isolated period of time where I'd have to eat certain foods or take pills or do certain things like that. I wanted to be able to have it where it was natural foods. Certainly I've been led towards wanting to eat more healthy, certainly combat the genetically modified foods that are on the market, and getting away from sugars and that sort of thing. And the metabolic balance seemed to answer a lot of those desires that I had and just didn't know how to implement. Plus also what was great about the program is that the diet was set up for me. I had my meals planned out, breakfast, lunch and dinner, so that made it for an easy program to fall into, and then made it more that it was just about discipline, not so much about thinking about what am I going to eat and how am I going to cope with that. So it was really good. I like potato chips. I like salty things. I'm not a big sweets person, and not a big chocolate. For me, it was salty. I like things like nuts and that as well. So I can still have some. Just have to watch how much of it I eat, because I like to eat. Fries are probably if I had to say there's one favorite food I have that was hard at first, was not having French fries. And I was really motivated to lose the weight. So, and knowing that the strict part of the diet was something I had to adhere to get to the goal I want. The health was important. Again, the long-term effects of carrying around that much weight or not being healthy was not good, and the years are going by faster and faster, it seems, the older we get. And what was good too about the diet is that it didn't mean that I could never have those things again. It was just a matter of planning them, and the idea of choosing what food I wanted, not just eating for the sake of eating, but if I'm going to eat something, I'd want to eat what I liked. One thing at the beginning, the first time I went to a restaurant, just looking over the menu and deciding, well, what do I really want to eat, and just even the concept of not having, if I don't like it, I don't have to eat it. Those were new thoughts for me. So it's been very freeing that way to look at my diet in a different way. I have had high blood pressure beforehand. Nothing that I had to take medication, but there's high blood pressure history in my family, and so that's something certainly my mom has been riding me over the years to keep an eye on that. And I was at the high end, and so one thing I wasn't expecting, having cut out the sugar and some of those things, the blood pressure dropped to normal or just below normal on the low end, and other than just changing the diet. So that was really exciting. I liked vegetables before, but I didn't. I've learned to like them a lot more, and I've really enjoying food just plain as it is, you know, thinking about before always having to add a sauce or a spice, like having gravy on meat and potatoes or salad dressing on your salad. Those types of things are making things sweet, putting brown sugar in my oatmeal. So my oatmeal I just eat plain now, but I actually grate and peel an apple and I grate it and I mix it in with my oatmeal, and I really like that. The yogurt, I like adding just the chopped fruit into plain yogurt rather than before. I used to have the vanilla yogurt and then added that in, and now having a spoonful of vanilla is just so sweet. I don't know how I stood it before. Yeah. Even coffee, I had previously cut sugar out of coffee, but I didn't think I could ever cut cream out, and I've cut that out, and I never thought I would enjoy coffee on its own, but I enjoy coffee on its own. The natural foods and the focus on that, it's caused us to look into other things, opening our eyes to other things, different types of, like whether there are people around who have natural flour. There's a farm right near where we are, and they grow their own wheat, and it's the whole wheat, and they grind everything up, the chaff and everything. So my wife used to make homemade bread, and we'd buy flour. Now we buy flour from there, and it's different. The bread's different than it was before, but it's good. I'll put some peanut butter, and instead of having jam, I'll chop up fruits and put it on instead of jam, and I really enjoy that. Because my wife and I are both on it, we knew that if we were going to do something, we had to do it together. It couldn't just be one of us, and we've tried, well, we've adjusted the eating habits of our kids as well. Certainly not on a strict program, but the proportions, you know, having meat and vegetables and bread in the right proportions. They still want their cereal, and a great big bowl of cereal, and I always catch them trying to do that, and you know, trying to encourage them to have a proper portion and have other things as well. Don't just be do what's easy, because that's not necessarily good. And we talk to them about the things that are put in foods, and you know, volume doesn't necessarily mean quality. You know, when you're buying food, it's not just about how much you can get for how little money. It's about the quality of the food, and so they're thinking more along those lines and making the change, and they really haven't complained much at all. Certainly having somebody there that we're both eating the same types of meals. Some of our things are the same, some are different. Even just for me, because I was really fed up with carrying the weight, I was very strict with the rules and not looking for reasons to compromise. Well, I've already told a few people and given Lucy's information to them at work. Just they were amazed at the change and how quickly, and certainly they asked me what I thought about it and what it was about. And again, for me, I didn't want to get on something that was just short term. It had to be a lifestyle change that I could maintain long term. I didn't want to be somebody who lost the weight and then put it all back on. So this was definitely that. The support program is really good as well. Having the blood work at the beginning and then the diet set out for you made things very easy to get on board with that. And then also having, because everybody's was different, it was obviously based on the findings through the blood testing, so it gave validity. And when you feel like you're involved in something that is well planned, well thought out, and organized, it makes it easy to stay on board. So certainly it'd be something that I've recommended and would recommend to others. Partake in following the rules and really buying into the whole program. With anything really, if you only do parts of it that you want or that are easy, you're just cheating yourself. It's done right. It's natural. It's the right way to do it, and it's sustainable.